It's recording.
All right.
All right, Laurie.
Welcome, everybody, to the inaugural podcast of Political Posse, a company built by myself, Lori Lennon, and my co-founder, Denise Giannakopoulos.
Hello, everybody.
She has a lot of vowels
I do.
in her last name.
Yes.
And she's Greek.
I am. Well, only 16% according to Ancestry DNA. So that
Feel Greek
just
to me.
That just blew my mind. I'm a little Norwegian, a little Scandinavian,
Oh,
a little bit country, a little bit of
variety.
rock and roll.
Shut up, Denise. Stupid. So let's talk about why we decided to start this podcast, Denise.
Okay, Laurie.
So, for background, I'm Lori Lennon. I recently ran for state representative in the towns of Arlington and West Medford in Massachusetts. Denise was my formidable campaign manager, and together we campaigned our faces off for about 7 months. The election didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but I think the best thing that happened out of it was it birthed this company for us.
Yeah. And it led us to each other, Laurie.
That is true.
Seriously, let's be real.
I should have led with that.
You should have. What do you say to me?
I'm just secure in our relationship.
Don't hide the headline, or what is it?
Don't bury the lead.
That's what it is. Don't bury the lead.
Don't hide the headline.
I don't know.
You can't hide a headline.
I know. Yeah, right. You're right. So anyway.
So Political Posse is something that we've put together to really help candidates who may not be your traditional candidate, i.e. a lawyer, who's seeking political office. I'm, by training, a journalist and a communications professional. Denise did a lot in retirement services. We've been politically engaged in other ways in our life. And we both graduated from this incredible program here in Massachusetts called Emerge, which trains Democratic women to run for office. I challenged an incumbent, which is very...
it's taboo here in Massachusetts.
Taboo. Thank you, Denise.
As we all know.
Yes.
As we all experienced this past election cycle.
Yes, I think this past election cycle made a ton of people uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It's really good.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's democracy.
Right.
And
at its best.
Let the best person win.
I say.
And, I think...
or let's say it's not really the best person. Right?
The nicest, most likable person.
Yeah, the nicest, most likable. He's such a nice person type candidate.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
So it's not the best person, because there have been a lot of great people who lost this election cycle.
That is very true.
Who really should be in the State House right now.
Yeah. Well, and we're hoping with this podcast and our company Political Posse, we will be able to help people do that. Running against an incumbent and being a woman. I'm a single mom. I've got a fabulous 9-year-old she's 9 going on 45. We got a new couch the other day, and she was more excited about that than most of her Christmas presents. And then Denise is... Go ahead, Denise. I don't want to speak for you.
What am I saying?
I don't even know where we're going with
I don't even know where we're going. I guess we're just bringing everybody along for the ride. We thought a podcast would be a good way for us to kind of chronicle some goings-ons that are happening within Massachusetts, and across the country. There'll be a typical format. Do you want me to go into what this podcast is about?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. Typical format of what our podcast is going to be is Laurie and I basically talking to each other and talking about current events. We're going to have some guests for every podcast. Not this one, because this is a get-to-know-you type situation, and we hope you all subscribe to it. So we'll have an interview with someone. And it's going to run the gamut of
someone
who
relevant.
It is.
We'll
Very relevant. Wow, Laurie.
Not going to be Denise's mom.
So if you're...
Maybe it is.
My mother's relevant.
I didn't say she wasn't relevant.
You just said we're going to interview people who are relevant. And you were like, it's not going to be Denise's mom. Basically telling...
Well...
Anyway, we digress. We'll talk about it
okay.
later. Laurie. Wait till we get home. And then we're going to go into the headlines of what's happening here in Massachusetts, and that we think is of interest, that we have a little bit of an opinion about. And then at the end, we have something that we like to call Political Pill, which is something that we like to expand on to let everyone know how to get involved in certain things across the country and again here in Massachusetts. It's going to be about bills that we think you should be aware of that may go under the radar and not seen by the mass media.
Especially in a news cycle that we're seeing over the past couple of years, it's very, very easy for high profile, what would otherwise be a high profile bill be swept under the rug.
Right. So that's it. That's what we're going to be doing. So to give you a little bit of background about myself, I do not have any children. I am a cis lesbian woman, and I live in Dorchester, born and raised. OFD. Laurie didn't know what
I had no idea what that meant.
Well, it's originally from Dorchester, Laurie.
Now I know.
Yes, you do. Consider yourself schooled. Wow. I have a lovely
I think you made it up.
What's that?
Nothing.
It's not made up. There's bumper stickers, mugs.
Oh.
Anyway,
fine.
I have a lovely 9-year-old as well. His name is Louie, and he's a mixed breed dog.
He's adorable.
And he is the light of my eye, love of my life.
And an excellent guard dog.
He's stereotypical. And that's about it. I'm in a new relationship, and I'm very excited about it.
And she's lovely.
She is lovely.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Denise. You have excellent taste.
Well, thank you.
Also excellent taste in friends.
Yeah, well, thank you. I've been getting a lot of compliments from my friends lately. It's really nice.
Oh.
And it's really it's nice for that to be recognized, to know who you surround yourself with,
That
right?
is very true.
I mean, you have great friends too.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I do.
And they're
I
relevant.
feel very lucky.
Unlike my mother.
That's
so
wow.
rude. Well, that's what you said.
I didn't mean it that way. Twisted my words, Denise.
Should we talk about how we met, Laurie?
It's my favorite love story, so yes.
Almost like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah. It started off with pain and suffering, and then in tears, and then it ended up in sheer joy.
Oh, that's nice.
So when I was running, I was looking for a campaign manager, and I had someone, but this person had really overcommitted themselves in ways that would make her not available for me during my run. And me being someone, I like I said, I'm a journalism communications major. I needed someone who could really help guide me a little bit more through the process of campaigning. So I was looking for somebody. So a mutual friend of ours, Maureen Butt, who's right now on the town council in Wakefield.
Yep. First Muslim woman
That's right.
to sit on the Wakefield Town Council. So kudos to you, Maureen, who is
Maureen.
also my classmate in Emerge program of 2016.
She's wonderful.
She is great.
And so she had said, I called her with my problem, and she said that she knew a lady who was looking to transition from a career that she was very unhappy in to a stronger life in politics.
Right.
So we set up a meeting.
We did, because when Maureen told me, she's like, well, I think you should be a campaign manager. And I said, I know nothing about being a campaign manager. And my biggest fear was that I would stray you, down the wrong path.
And you never did, Denise.
Well, thank you, Laurie. I wish the outcome was a little bit better. But I knew that I wanted to get more into politics. Like you had said, I had always been involved in it somehow, some way, in whatever aspect. But I was just not happy in my job. I worked in retirement services for most of my life, and it was time to move on, you know? And so, this opportunity came up at a really great time.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah, and then when I met you, it was just like, this is where I'm meant to be.
It was a great night.
It was a great night.
Yeah. And it was a Cafe Nero and Assembly Square.
Yes, it was.
I remember the booth, Denise.
I remember the booth, too.
I met you.
There should be a plaque there at some point.
We could do it ourselves.
Yeah,
Just
we
stick
could.
it there.
I'll bring a drill because I'm a lesbian, so.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'll bring my 2 belts. We have a plaque. It'll be
I will
fun.
say I am not a lesbian, and I hung up all the pictures in my house.
Yeah, that's true. You did a really good job too. I'm looking at them right now.
I'm a do-it-yourself kind of lady.
You are. And so we just started this journey together, and after the campaign, we were like, okay, well, now what do we do?
Yeah, because it's also important to note that we both left our jobs.
We did. That was an important part.
A big jump. So Denise
Yes.
was living a life that she was not very happy with
No.
in
I wasn't.
retirement services.
I wasn't. I left my job at the beginning of May, and Laurie decided she wasn't very happy at her job either.
Nope.
And so we both made the splash in May to kind of live a different life than what we were both accustomed to. And it's working out great. But after the campaign, we weren't too sure what our next steps would be. Laurie had a communications consulting firm that she was kind of looking to kind of continue. And I was just like,
She was literally like that.
I was. I'm like, what to do?
We drank a ton of coffee those few weeks.
Yeah, a lot of coffee.
And croissants.
And now look at us. Now we're starting our own consulting firm, and we're doing a podcast, and there's more to come that will divulge.
We're going to help more people.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah, that was our biggest thing. We're like, because eventually I was going to run for something at some point. And we started thinking, that's 2 seats, but we can do a little bit more if we're outside of that state house and try to garner up great candidates to flip more seats.
Right.
And bring in more progressive values into whatever political office people choose to run for.
Yeah. And not be restricted to Massachusetts.
Yes.
Really starting to impact areas that need more progressive voices and different types of representation.
Right.
So here we are. So we're very excited.
We are very excited. And we work really well together. I mean, you hear about candidates and campaign managers really not getting along, not seeing eye to eye, and then happy that the campaign is over so you never have to see them again.
We were really sad it was over.
We were sad it was over. It was a transition, really.
Yeah. I was trying to get Denise to move to Arlington for quite a while. So.
Yeah, Arlington is not for Denise Giannakopoulos.
But I just make her come a lot.
Yes.
To Arlington.
To Arlington.
It's like 14 miles, an hour and a half of traffic.
Yes.
But
thank you, Laurie.
You're welcome.
I do it for you. Oh. Anyway.
So here we are.
So
one of the things that I do think is important to talk about too is where we were and where we are now in a little bit of a different way. Like when we started running, it was terrifying. And I don't want to speak for you, Denise, but I remember waking up many mornings being like, what the hell am I doing? And just waking up in fear, like eyes wide open, short of breath, not really sure what the hell's going on.
Really?
And that was definitely before we met too.
Okay.
It was like, because I spent a lot of time getting my ducks in a row prior to pulling papers, which I think is important, and a service we provide.
Yeah.
But
shameless plug.
But I look back on how I was feeling now and how I felt at the end and even the middle of the campaign, wildly different.
Yeah.
And it just comes with doing it, getting in there, and there's no way you can. And there's people can say a lot of things to you about how it's going to get better, and just trust the process or whatever. But there's nothing like going through it. And by the end of the campaign, or definitely toward the middle, like it was easy. It was, we felt very confident. We could talk at coffees. We could, door knock our faces off, make phone calls and ask for money in ways that I never dreamed would be possible.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important, especially if there are people listening that do want to eventually run, if they're not doing it now, in a little bit ways down the road, that you will have these feelings, but it gets better.
Yeah, it does get better.
Yeah,
because it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
When you start looking at what you have to do and when is it all going to get done, it all gets done in some degree or another. And so you just need to pump the brakes and just take it little by little.
Yeah.
And not get overwhelmed by it.
It's true. And it is. And surround yourself with really positive and strong people who are going to be there to help you and support you and tell you the truth.
Yeah. Telling you the truth is key.
It's weird. A lot of people find it very hard.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
It's human nature.
Yeah. But more feelings get hurt when you're not really truthful and forward and upfront with people.
Yeah.
So it was an incredible journey, and I remember, and you were there, Denise.
I
we
was.
had the coffee in Dedham. and I gave my stump speech for
that was
toward the middle of the campaign, and that's when we totally hit our stride.
That was the turning point, I think, in the campaign. You were just so much more comfortable with the message that you were advocating, the issues that you were interested in, and how you were going about kind of implementing that if you were lucky enough to get into the legislature. Right. And I just looked around the room and I just felt something inside and be like, this is it. This is the beginning of like,
yeah.
And it turned, and we raised more money that month than we had the rest of the beginning of the campaign. Right. And it just kept on coming in.
Yeah, it was a great time to hit our stride.
It was. And the timing was great.
Yeah, and it was one of those moments that were just like, yes.
Yeah.
This is it.
This is it.
So, everyone hopefully will feel that at some point.
Hang in there, everybody.
Hang in there. It gets better.
It gets better.
Knock on doors, please.
Yes.
So that's basically what we're going to be doing for this podcast, right, Denise?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to see what happens here.
Yeah, we're open books, so you probably learn a lot about us.
Right. Sorry. Probably more than you really even want to know.
But what we should move on to is talking about the shit show that is our national government right now.
Yeah.
We are at day 24 of the shutdown.
Longest shutdown in American history.
Yes, Trump can hang his hat on that.
Because, of course, he loves that.
Because he's the best negotiator.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Right. Anything.
Ugh.
So, a lot has happened in these couple of weeks. One of the most infuriating things for me was toward the beginning before federal employees had not received their paycheck for the month. He had said that all the federal workers were totally in support of what he was doing, and that they'll make adjustments to not getting money.
Is everybody out of their minds? Is everyone out of their minds?
Everybody's out of their goddamn minds.
You know something, Laurie? Write a letter to your landlord to say, hey, due to the government shutdown, I'm a federal employee. I won't be able to make rent. And in turn, your landlord will be like, are you kidding me? Now I can't make my mortgage.
Right.
And it just keeps on going. Like, it just keeps on going downhill.
And just adding insult to injury, suggesting that people do things like negotiate with their landlords and mortgage companies for payments. Get a hobby to help barter after hours, after you've worked an entire day for free.
Yard sales.
Yard sales were also something that was suggested. It's completely insulting. And it's just really important to say every single time that the shutdown and the border wall are two different topics.
Yep.
They are not connected in any way, shape, or form.
No.
This is literally the President of the United States having
a tantrum.
A tantrum. And that's it.
I think we summed it up beautifully.
Yeah. Drop the mic.
Well, he now is steering away from calling this a national emergency and, trying to get funding without Congress's approval, it blows my mind he was even going down that road, because nothing, if anything needed a national emergency, it was Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan
still
was the epitome of what a national emergency should be. Puerto Rico, the wildfires, anything else but a freaking wall.
Yeah.
A wall.
Yes, and
that doesn't even make sense for half the terrain that's happening down there.
And then the fact that a lot of the people who end up becoming undocumented workers in the United States come here on an airplane, fly into an airport, and come to the States on a visa and then overstay that visa.
Yeah.
And we also have to mention that the same hullabaloo is not happening in the northern part of America.
No, our friends to the north.
Border.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone sees this for what it really
is. It's racism.
Yeah.
It's it's an attack on brown and black people.
Yep.
Like, that's what it is.
Period. And just using fear tactics to scare people into believing him.
And using the Oval Office
for
that, to talk to millions of people instead of, basically calming the public down, being like, reassuring the public of what's happening, and we have a solution for it. It was fear mongering, and it was actually disgusting and not very presidential, in my opinion,
Agreed.
to do this to the American people.
Right. Well, and when this is his first so Trump gave his primetime address.
Very first one.
Last week. Very
Stupid.
first one. Very first one. And he used it to, one, not talk about anything new.
Nope.
And two, scare the shit out of people.
Yep.
So I had my daughter, we were watching it, and he started talking about people getting killed with hammers and dismembering. And it was the weirdest thing to see a president in an Oval Office talking about just sending messages that are completely trying to create fear and really scare the crap out of people so that he'll get this stupid wall.
Yep. I mean, to blatantly say that there's raping, dismembering, and all of that happening, and basically blaming immigrants for it, is really irresponsible.
Right. And not true.
And not true. When most of the crimes are native-born
right.
Americans creating these atrocious crimes.
Like people at the borders or like family and
right.
kids.
Not saying that these crimes have not happened. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
But to just hone in on that.
Right.
And just have a blanket statement is just irresponsible of a leader that
right.
should be leading
It should be bringing people together.
Yes. Well, in other news, though, Ayanna Pressley.
Love her.
Filing a bill to get back pay for furloughed workers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that woman's going to do great things there.
Yeah. And it's
refreshing?
Smart. Yeah. Like people shouldn't work for free.
I mean, it's the right thing to do.
Right. So, and I was just reading this morning that Democratic Caucus Vice Chair Catherine Clark.
Oh, kudos.
Amazing, joined 21 other lawmakers in introducing the Federal Employees Civil Relief Act that would protect federal workers and their families from foreclosures, evictions, loan defaults during the government shutdown.
Again, it's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
However, we shouldn't have to be in this position.
Right.
The government shouldn't be shut down. So now when we're supposed to be talking about other things that are affecting this country.
Right.
Now we're trying to scramble to create bills to protect these people because it's going to happen again. Right?
Didn't need to be in this position in the first place.
Right. This is absolutely unprecedented and unnecessary.
Right. It's putting people in harm's way for a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Because
he needs a win.
Yeah.
He needs a win.
So I think the latest study was 53% of people think this shutdown is to blame on Trump. And then the 29% still blame the Democrats, which we can probably say is his base.
Yeah.
And 13% still think it's, 13% think it's Republicans and Democrats. But this blame is on Trump. I mean, I'm surprised the percentage isn't higher, but...
I mean, there's always going to be those people who blindly, follow whoever.
Right.
Because those are the people who really aren't affected by it, right?
Right.
They don't work for the government, so it's not directly affected by them.
Right.
Until they go to travel through an airport.
Who's not affected by this government shutdown? Ann Coulter.
Ann Coulter. Please. Ann Coulter.
Her and her,
That woman.
I don't understand.
I don't understand why anyone continues to give her airtime.
Ratings.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I really
it's not
don't.
Right, but it's for ratings.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Anyway. I can't anymore.
So, we'll continue the longest shutdown ever.
No end in sight, by the way.
No end in sight.
He walked out of a luncheon last week before they, broke for the weekend. And he was like, bye-bye. Gave everybody candy. Did you see that?
When he was trying to negotiate with the Democrats about the shutdown. How insulting is that?
Have a jawbreaker.
If someone gave me a piece of candy and said, let's start negotiating, I would throw it right in their face.
Right.
That is so insulting.
So insulting. And I like it how everyone blames the Democrats and be like, well, they're not negotiating. Well, because this is ridiculous. The Democrats have already acknowledged that something is needed for border security. They've already acknowledged that immigration reform needs to be overhauled.
Right.
But to shut down the government over this is just absolutely ridiculous.
When it's not related.
We can
She
talk and
keeps saying
talk and
that.
talk more about this, but this is going to take up more time than we allotted for this podcast, Laurie. What's next
Well, let's talk
on our
about
headlines?
another great motherfucking story.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Segue.
You a smart motherfucker.
So, Representative Rashida Tlaib,
Yep.
Democrat from Michigan.
Congratulations, by the way.
Congratulations.
She's another first Muslim woman to be elected into Congress.
Yeah. It's awesome.
It's amazing.
I gotta say, the swearing in was so great to see.
Yeah.
was-
And she was sworn in on Thomas Jefferson's Quran. Was it her? It was her.
We'll
Fact
have to
check, Laurie.
We will fact check.
Fact check.
But I believe so.
I believe so too.
We'll look.
All right.
We'll put it in the show notes. Denise loves that.
I
word.
love that. Did you look at my show notes, Denise?
I did. I like to be prepared.
I know you do. It's the Virgo in you. Anyway, everyone is up in arms about the use of profanity. And yes, why you shouldn't. I mean, not shouldn't. I don't condone it either, like Nancy Pelosi said, but our president has used much more insightful, hateful words without profanity. And it's like, really, everybody?
Right.
We're getting hung up on a word?
They're losing their mind. This wasn't a public speech she gave. It was to a group of supporters. She had just won the election, or she had just been sworn in. Completely different setting. But what I would also like to say is
Tell us.
that the top, who was it? The Representative Stephen King,
Yeah.
who was just removed from all of his leadership positions,
Yeah.
has said has said wildly racist things, misogynistic things, and he's been saying them for years, but no
Yeah.
one ever talks about it.
No.
They just started talking about it.
Right.
Um,
And it was Representative Tlaib that was sworn in
It
on
was-
Jefferson's.
excellent.
We
Good
just-
fact checking. Denise.
You're welcome. Go on. Sorry, Laurie, to interrupt you.
So I can't help but think of this as a stupid double standard. And all she did was say a swear. And also, I would like to say, swearing is a sign of intelligence.
You know what my mother used to say, even
What?
though she's irrelevant.
I didn't say she was irrelevant. For the record.
She's not a big fan of using profanity too, but she has. Let's just be clear. She's 89 years old, but she says you use profanity because you can't find another adjective to describe things.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's pretty interesting. I subscribe to that
That's true.
half the time, but fuck it. I'll say what I want.
And you know what I love about it is she was unapologetic
She
about it.
was.
She was like, you know what? I said a swear. Who cares? It's so dumb.
We're not saying we're grabbing people in their genitalia. Like, you know what I mean? And we're
Yeah.
going to move on someone. Like, it blows my mind, the double standard that is
Yeah.
consistent day to day. And especially with women.
Oh, it's always with women.
I mean,
Sorry.
God, it's
Not sorry.
always with women.
It's always with women.
And, yeah, it is.
I mean, just from a personal anecdote, knocking on doors, people asking me where my kid is.
Right.
Um,
What are you going to do, Laurie?
Yeah. What am I other than a mother?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do with your kid when you have to go to the state house? Meanwhile, I mean, I've been working since 2004,
Yeah.
when I graduated college. So,
Mm.
I don't know. Women are held to these crazy standards, and I love how she was like, I'm not saying sorry.
No.
It's what I meant.
It is what it is.
And here we are. So keep swearing.
Okay.
That's what I say.
Well, that's great, Laurie.
Just
That
yeah.
could be our little...
Keep swearing.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to Political Posse. Keep swearing.
Keep swearing. It's a sign of intelligence.
Yeah. So,
Anyway.
where are we now, Laurie? Is it time for our political pill, or
It's
do
time
we
for
have one
political
more
pill.
headline?
I think people might be sick of listening to us.
Yeah, probably.
So hit it.
Hit it. So, today's political pill comes from the state of Oklahoma,
Oklahoma.
who has a female governor, which is great, but not in this instance right now. Oklahoma right now is waiting for the governor's signature on bill number, stand by, Senate Bill 1140, which enables anyone to discriminate against LGBTQIA families and individuals from fostering or adopting children. Haven't we already discussed this already? Like, where is the progress? If we're supposed to be progressing as a nation, why do we continue to go backwards? And you know what religion is. You can discriminate based on religion, which in disguise means you can discriminate whatever you want and just incite Jesus and you'll be covered.
Right.
It blows me mind.
Well, and that's how they've been getting around sneaking stuff through that discriminates on people based on religion and beliefs and freedom of religion. When all it is giving people license to hate and discriminate.
God.
So, and these kids just want happy families to live in.
We have so many children who are looking for a family, looking for a stable family unit, whatever that looks like, to be brought up in a loving home where they can just support kids and raise good humans.
Right.
And you're denying people and children that opportunity. When 50% of children, unfortunately, that's an unfortunate statistic, but it is true, when kids are in the foster care system and out of a family unit home or just a family unit, doesn't matter what it looks like, a single father, single mother, whatever it looks like, they are more likely to be abused mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful. And sexually.
Awful.
Can't forget about sexually abused either, because that's can't.
Awful. I mean, you're keeping more kids in the system.
More kids
that are being abused, and when we're looking, if we want to talk about the fiscal consequences of this, the states are going to be spending exponentially more.
Yeah.
Just to find housing that satisfies their needs.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
It blows my mind. So this is part where you can get active in being aware of some of these things that are happening across the country. I know we're really good about calling our representatives and letting them know how we want them to vote on certain things. But I think it's time that we start supporting organizations that help these things come to light. The Human Rights Campaign, your local LGBTQIA Foundation, Fenway Health. I mean, that's a great organization. I belong to this group called the Bay State Stonewall Democrats here in Massachusetts, and they're an LGBTQIA organization too that are getting more involved in policy and politics. Mm-hmm. We all need to get involved somehow, some way. Whatever is close to your heart, because you know something, we need to band together, because the reps can't do it on their own. So we need to help them and support them.
Yeah, we need to give them and the organizations the tools they need.
And really personally, as a lesbian woman, I'm sick of all of it hurting my community. Trans deaths have been up an astronomical amount these past couple of years. Mm-hmm. Trans death, oh God, suicide, young suicide, because kids are coming to terms with their sexuality and being bullied and don't know how to deal with it, and they don't have the support outside of their home to live a life that they want.
Right.
It's disgusting, and it's heartbreaking, and again, unnecessary.
Right.
Anyway, that's my little soapbox.
There's a lot you can do.
There is a lot you can do.
And then, what we can do too is we'll put in our show notes some links to some organizations that you can give to, and a link to your reps if you do want to make a phone call to your reps.
Yep. And stay engaged.
Yeah.
We always get to vote, but staying engaged is the challenge after you leave that voting booth.
Yeah, it's true, and it's not. You're constantly hit with a lot of news, and a lot of news really, really sucks now. Yeah. And it's very easy to turn it off, but you always have to remember that there are people who can't just turn it off.
Yep, that's right. That's a very good point.
They have.
That's their life.
They don't have that luxury.
No, they don't have that luxury.
So remember that.
And choose something that you really care deeply about. My God, that was hard. I don't know. I think I smelled toast. Little stroke. I don't know. Anyway, so pick something, get involved in that one thing so it doesn't seem so overwhelming, and just get involved.
Yeah.
Well, this is it, Laura.
That's it. This is our first podcast, Denise. I will say, full disclosure, we did one yesterday, and I deleted it all.
Well, it wasn't your fault.
I wouldn't say I deleted it.
You didn't delete
it. Disappeared.
Yeah.
Rage.
Thanks for listening to the end if you did.
Yeah. Next one we're going to be doing is leadership in government. So
Yeah.
that'll be coming up. We will be doing these podcasts bi-weekly. And by that we mean twice a month. Because bi-weekly, according to the dictionary, can mean a few things. Like twice a week.
So ridiculous.
So I like that it's flexible.
I do too. It's
So-
like whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right.
So have your choice. So we will be doing these twice a month. And then you can always check out our website, politicalposse.com. On there we've got some more of our services, a little bit more about me and Denise.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.